So I've gotten out and I've been given my court date, but the court date was kind of confusing. They're like, I know it says go on this day, but you need to go on this day. So I'm trying to find an attorney. Like the next day I'm looking, and I call a guy I know and work out with. And he's like, well, because I'm a deputy, I can't go against another deputy in court because he worked part-time as an attorney and part-time as a deputy. So I used his partner, and I don't remember what it costs, like $2,000. And he's going to go to court with me. They're going to do the, what's it called, CRO. Basically, it means the first time you get a DUI, it's more of a, hey, don't you do that again. You go through these motions and get this done. Like as a child when you break something. It's an accident now, and we understand that. It's okay, but you break anything again, you're going to get your ass torn up by the belt, because the second DUI, they go down hard on you. And I started learning some more stuff about what happens to other people, because my buddy's wife had gotten one, and hers was like double the limit. They took her license immediately. I still had mine. And I go to court, and what I got to do is I've got to do some alcohol awareness classes, do 3 months of unsupervised probation, which consisted of, as I told you in that story, having to go by there. You been drinking? No. You been doing drugs? No. Okay, bye. But the first time I had to get drug tested, that poor guy had to watch me pee, which still pretty funny, but that poor guy, he had to do that all day. And I was lucky to not get put on color code, as I've said before. That would have been rough. But I did 3 months of that. And the alcohol awareness classes, what made those awful was it was on a weekend I was supposed to have my daughter, so I had to swap work weekends around. I missed some time with my daughter, and I know, well, it's no more than you deserve. That's what you get for drinking and driving. Yeah, I understand. But they were long. You had to get there pretty early. And the lady, she was a trip. She did not give a shit. She cussed like a sailor. She said whatever. And she said, she'd preface it every day with, if you have a problem with anything I have to say or anything I do or any of the mannerisms, here's who you email. In other words, it sounded like she had job security and could say whatever she wanted. Well, the class was kind of informative, although some of the people, like, I took it pretty serious. I showed up early and I wanted to get it over with, but one guy, she actually knew him. He showed up late and fell asleep, and I had to shake him awake because he sat next to me. And we learned all about alcohol and how alcohol works and drug use. It was informative. It was like a better DARE class. That part wasn't that bad. Other than having to miss out on something I wanted to do, it really wasn't. Though she made it very clear the first day. She's like, y'all are done with day one and y'all are going to come back tomorrow, but don't you think you can go drink and do drugs tonight? Because if I have to drug test one of you in the morning, I'm going to drug test all of you. So keep that in mind. Well, I did. I was like, well, I'm not going to drink, so this will be fine. And thankfully, she didn't have to drug test anyone, because nobody did it. Because I would think that nobody's that stupid, but she said people are that stupid. People are that stupid. And now we come to the worst parts. To keep my license, I had to, for 6 months, have an interlock device. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's about the size of a old school cordless phone, and you sit it on the dashboard of your car, and it connects to your ignition. So to turn the car on, I had to breathe into this, basically a breathalyzer, and if everything was good, the car would start. But this thing was sensitive. I drank a Kill Cliff one time, and it gave me a warning, because you can have what's called refusals. You can have 2 refusals, and then your car will shut down. You'll have to tow it, and you'll have to go get it calibrated. Because it made me, because after I got done with the probation and alcohol awareness, I started drinking again. Like, I was more careful about it, but I had to be very, very careful. I had to time it to a T, because if it even sensed anything on your breath, you might get, like, the car wouldn't start. And you're probably thinking, well, why didn't you get somebody else to do it? They hadn't been drinking. Oh no, it's not just to start the car. It could go off at any time. Anytime while you're driving, anytime between 10 and 60 minutes, and you never knew when, and you'd hear that telltale beeping sound, and you'd have to blow. Didn't matter what you'd been doing. I don't know how people have just been like, all right, my car started, I'm going to drink a beer. I don't know how you could have done it. Because I ate some pizza one time, and it warmed me. So I had to be very careful with that. Oh, and the cost of it. It was $150 to get it installed. And to go get it calibrated, it cost anywhere from $90 to $100. So that was expensive. And it was exhausting. And to get it calibrated. And if it got too hot, it wouldn't work. One time, because it sat right on my dash, right under the windshield. And it got too hot, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So I had to cool it off just to start my car. That got old fast too. And it was expensive, because from what I've learned from this is fines are not the way to go. I mean, I don't know what more you could do other than fines, but I was lucky I had the money, because it cost a fortune. And deservedly so, because the lawyer came with something. That was $2,000. And I kept finding hidden fees. Oh, by the way, you owe district attorney fees. I was like, what did she do? She didn't do anything. She just told me I'm going to jail. That was $850. And then I went and paid with a debit card. I had to pay a 5% convenience fee. And I had to go get a new license. That one was the most difficult part. I had to drive to about an hour and a half to another city, pick a number, and then get my new license, which costs $200, to make sure I didn't drive any cars without interlock devices. But I did my 6 months and got that done. I got that taken out. And it's just that there was always another fee I kept discovering. Oh yeah, you haven't paid this. Okay, I'll pay it. If they told me all that ahead of time, that would have been nice. And I feel like I unnecessarily hired a lawyer, because I don't think I really needed one. I think they would have sent me to the same thing to happen. But you don't know what to do in that situation. Maybe hiring a lawyer could get you out of it. And it went a lot worse for other people. Like, there's another guy, a friend of a friend. He blew something ridiculous, like .20, which almost double what mine was. And he had to do color code. He got an interlock device that had a camera, so you had to center it just so. I don't know why you needed one. The interlock device was difficult enough. It made life so difficult. Because I couldn't you couldn't even think about drinking. Even if, like, I was out playing golf and had a drink on the first hole, I didn't even try it. I didn't have the nerve. Because if my car can't start, I couldn't go anywhere. Because if you use one of your refusals, that's it. You're out. So there's so much that can go wrong. So I didn't. And consequently, but I went through everything. I jumped through the hoops, and it's like it never happened. So it's off my record. It disappeared. So I don't even have a ticket in the last 7 years on my record. So that was nice, but I don't recommend it. You also saw, like, the second one, you're doing a year's unsupervised probation. Your interlock device stays in for 2 years. And oh yeah, I forgot about that. If you tried to remove your device, you got your sentence doubled. Not that, because the inner workings of the car are, I don't know shit about that. What would I have done? Because if you just try to get cute with it, they would double your sentence. The second DUI, everything's longer. You do color code, and the fines are tens of thousands of dollars. And the third one, they just send you to rehab. But I learned a lot, and I don't recommend it, because it cost a lot of money, and it was a lot of rigmarole to, I use that term a lot, but there was, they say jumping through hoops. There were hoops to jump through, but they were well hidden, and you didn't know they existed until they got in touch with you about the new fee. But other than that, that's pretty much everything about my DUI story.